Hello, everybody. Man, today is a special day because I have two friends joining us to talk about the two very special friends to talk about the case of their daughter, the murder of Ellen Greenberg, which we're going to get started right now. This video contains mature themes and discussions intended only for adult audiences. Viewer discretion is advised. Hello there, my friend again. Thank you for being here. Welcome to another true crime conversation with me, Gavin Fish. I'm not going to bury the lead. I would like to welcome to the show the parents of Ellen Greenberg, Josh and Sandee Greenberg. Josh and Sandee, thanks for coming. Thanks for stopping by.
Thank you.
Our pleasure. We're glad we can help. Well, thank you for helping.
Well, listen, there's a lot going on.
Place.
Yeah, there's a lot going on in the case. Of course, the medical examiner, Dr. Simon, with her 32-page so-called independent report coming out on the heels of the docuseries on Hulu. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
How are you guys doing?
We're good, but I want to mention and bring this to a focus that Dr. Simon did not do her assignment. She was asked to review Ellen's autopsy file and determine something other than suicide, which is anything what Dr. Simon did. Take it from there, Gavin.
Well, the settlement, I did find it interesting that they sent over everything, including, she said in her report that she reviewed the docuseries. I don't find that even remotely appropriate.
So unprofessional.
We wonder about that.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it is. It's so silly. Like, she's not part of Disney.
And she's not a TV critic or somebody like that. She's a medical. What is she? A medical
A
examiner.
medical misfit.
Okay. That's
Yeah, she's a medical examiner, forensic pathologist. And I remember back in February when the settlement was announced there in the courthouse in Philadelphia, standing in that dark hallway, that the medical examiner's office was to review Ellen's autopsy.
right.
But
Period.
apparently the city of Philadelphia sent everything over. Right?
I don't know what she asked for.
We don't know
we
what
don't know.
everything is.
We don't know what transpired. We only know what came out.
So the big question that I think everybody has, and I'm going to ask it, but you guys feel free to not answer it if you don't want
Right,
to.
go
But
ahead. Go ahead.
everybody wants to know what happens next.
We don't know. What happens next, we're going to sit down with Mr. Pedroza, Mr. Trask, and figure it out. There are other things happening, though. This is not over. There is not a big
just
flesh.
because Philadelphia put the squash on it, and so now they don't have to worry about lawsuits, or they think they don't have to worry about lawsuits. We're never giving up, and they have to be prepared for what's next, because we didn't die, we didn't go away. There are two of us that need to die for Philadelphia to be happy. We're not dying.
It seems like whatever she did is causing more controversy than eliminating controversy, which I think she would want to do. She has talked about finding new injuries, new wounds, substantial number of new wounds. She is talking about the podcast. I mean, when did she become a critic, a social TV critic?
She become a psychiatrist.
Right.
Yeah, I that kind of stuff kind of bothers me, right?
We got people to authenticate and be evidence-based when we did something. We just didn't say something. We had the backup to prove it.
We had 4 renowned forensic
You know,
pathologist. No, please, Josh, don't interrupt me. Dr. Joseph Scott Morgan, Dr. Michelle Dupre, Dr. Cyril Wecht, and Dr. Ross all
Henry
went on
Lee.
record.
Yeah.
And Henry Lee. Yes, that's five. I'm sorry I missed that.
the
Yeah.
most important thing, if she was going to refute what we have to say, is what she is refute is what what's his name, the one who just died,
Cyril Wecht,
Cyril
Cyril.
Wecht, a world-renowned pathologist, right, in this type of thing,
forensic
Yeah.
pathologist,
pathologist.
this type of thing. And what did he say to us at the beginning, the very beginning? Women don't commit suicide by knives anymore. They don't stab themselves. They open up their chest when they did it, but they don't do it anymore. And I went searching for other cases like this. There are none. In fact, this case never even came up when I looked around and went searching. And that should really almost be the end of the whole discussion, that women don't do this anymore. And he is world renowned. He was world renowned. He passed away. But there was nobody, or there was nobody out there who was
Outspoken.
more respected for his opinion. Nobody. So everything that we've done since then, even what we have done, is just not up to Cyril Wecht saying women don't commit suicide by stabbing themselves anymore. And
I
whoever
think
says that, go ahead.
I was just saying something that Sandee said earlier. Well, there are two things. First is I do think that the city of Philadelphia, which is as close to an entity that can be immortal as is possible, right? That city will go on for thousands of years probably. I think that they're just waiting you out. I think that they're waiting you out.
Well,
Guess what? We're waiting them out.
okay, right, Sandy. I think they would. They, if I was them and I was waiting them out, I wouldn't respond. I would teach everybody in Philadelphia on the criminal justice system to say two words: no comment.
Well, they can't
Or I
really
would
do that
go,
if you bring a lawsuit against them, though, right? They have to
well, they
respond to
can
that.
try. They can try. You never, a lawyer has an opinion, but I don't feel that way anymore. I feel to some extent they were delaying doing this. Why, I don't know, because they didn't get rid of us and they weren't going to get rid of us. And they had to come through with something anyway. And what they came through with, in our opinion, creates even more controversy than less controversy. But I understand what you're saying. If it was me, I would try and wait them out, the Greenbergs. And I don't think they're successful. I think
Well,
the fact,
yeah, I tell the word that I use to describe you guys is true. Well, the words is true grit. Like you guys are the grittiest people. You're not going
That's,
away.
I love that.
It
Yes.
is, you guys have
Love, love,
displayed
love
just
that.
okay, Sandy.
so much stick to itiveness, as my sixth grade teacher would describe it. The other
Well,
thing
look
that,
at her. That was our daughter.
I mean,
Wouldn't you fight
we
for
were
her if she
so
was your
proud
daughter?
of her.
yeah, and that's the reason that I got so sucked in. It was a viewer that said, if you're angry about Amanda Winkowski, you'll be angry about Ellen Greenberg. And when I look at her, I just see, you guys know this.
Oh, look
We
at
have
that.
we have daughters in our 20s, right? Kimberly and I have daughters in our 20s. When I look at Ellen,
Look at
I
her.
I think
Look at her.
paternalistically, right?
Who's
Yeah.
in charge of that classroom, huh?
Oh,
Who's the
let's talk.
teacher?
Can we talk about that here for a second? Let me
Yes.
pause that picture.
Let's.
Let me go back. Give me a second. Um, so let me go
No nose
to
job,
this one.
straight teeth.
Wait a minute, what did you just say?
No
He
nose
just said,
job, straight teeth.
um, I there's been a lot made out in Dr. Simon's report about her having anxiety about work, about school.
what does that have to do with the medical examiner's scientific examination?
Well, to me, I don't think anybody takes their own life if they're anxious about anything.
That's what Ellen went to a real psychiatrist with an MD after her name and said Ellen was anxious. And she said anxiousness does not produce
Qualify.
produce Suicide.
Suicide.
You
She
get
was
anxious when
not
you're driving
concerned.
the turnpike and a truck squeezes you in and you're in the left lane and they're in the right lane. You get anxious. Do you commit
Sure.
suicide? No. You don't even get depressed. You get anxious.
Yeah.
And Ellen had reason, we think, because of wounds,
Injuries.
the wounds from the abuse, that she should be anxious. Her life was in danger.
I think you're right.
Seriously.
I think her
So
life was in
right.
danger. Well,
And then
yeah.
subsequently, after she was killed, there was a new teacher took over all her books and teacher stuff. No problems. Everything was in order.
Everything was in order. Every
Everything
lip
was.
gloss was in every.
Yeah, you're trying to be funny. They're not going to appreciate it.
I
Every,
know, but she left everything
everything
in
in
perfect
order.
order.
Right. Her teaching books were all the way they should be. Whatever teacher books are, her records were perfect. So I think I think the stab wounds were a cover up. I think she was covering up by saying that she had problems at school. She didn't want to say that she was being abused.
I think you're right.
And from what I
And
know about abuse, that's what abusers do. They don't they don't say it. They say they deserve it almost.
well, I had wondered if it was subconscious in Ellen. She was saying out loud, work is stressful and this is really hard and I want to come home and stuff like that. But it was a subconscious thing. She wasn't connecting the dots. I mean, I think she was in love with Sam Goldberg. I I think they had a loving relationship until they didn't,
I
and
think we have
that's
to
a
get some
difficult.
more research here on abuse. The
Well,
abuser feels they deserve it. The abuser is a victim. She was a victim. And I don't know if she loves Sam Goldberg or anybody, but she was not going to say that she was abused. They don't say
Well,
that.
she was
She made
afraid.
up a,
She was afraid.
she made up an excuse. School was the excuse. She had pressure at school, but it's all baloney.
yeah. Now, an article speaking of Mr. Goldberg. Um, this was published in the Daily Mail a little while ago.
Oh, we didn't see this.
Ellen Greenberg's ex breaks his silence after court hearing rules her 20 stab wound death was suicide. And then, yeah,
What
so
did he
so
say?
they actually have pictures of him like getting into a car and stuff like that. So let me just read a couple paragraphs here. Ellen
Oh, this
Greenberg's
is all new
ex-fiance has
for us.
broken his silence after the city of Philadelphia doubled down on its comfort. Blah blah blah. Goldberg told the Daily Mail things suck and have been awful because of the widespread media attention around Ellen's death. Uh, I hate calling it death. It's Ellen's murder. The Daily Mail asked Goldberg, now a married father of two living in Manhattan, if he felt he had been screwed over by a recent Hulu documentary exploring Greenberg's final days. He said, "Yeah, I have been. It's awful and it sucks, but I have nothing else to say." So, I mean, other than what he told CNN, that's it. Yeah, it
I want
sucks.
to know how much we said that he was involved in this.
You didn't say anything about it.
We've never said anything about it.
No,
We've
no.
never said we never looked for anybody specifically who did it. All we have asked for was an unbiased examination led by an unbiased leader. But we didn't say X, Y, Z committed Ellen's murder. We've never said anything like that. He has got feelings of guilt. He thinks we're blaming him because he knows he could be a suspect.
Yeah, well,
He's
he's the most
manufacturing
obvious.
this. We didn't manufacture his name into this melange at all, or this goulage, whatever the hell it is. We have never said that he did it. We never said you did it, or I did it, or Sandy did it. We've never picked out anyone, and we've been very
And guess
careful.
what? It might not have been only one individual.
Guess what? We don't know who did it.
Yeah.
We want an unbiased examination. There was no examination because they don't investigate suicide. That's why suicide is the perfect cover up.
Yeah, and Tom said that in the doc. Um,
You know, we
I
weren't
I
able
want to
to
take you
see
guys
that.
back to February 4th at the courthouse.
Uh,
Um, I can I ask what your feelings were that day? I mean,
Mixed.
let me just preface this real quick. So Joel Waldman and Laura Diamond and Nancy Schwartzman and I were standing in the hallway. We had you guys you'd gotten an order that you couldn't talk to anybody, right? So we were standing in the hallway. I don't want to put words in anybody else's mouth, but we were so confident that this trial was going to start and it was going to go your way. We were looking at the panel that was sitting in that courtroom, just waiting to have to go through voir dire and have the jury picked. I was so confident for you guys, but then I started to see Joe and Will took you into another room. We saw them coming in and out. We saw them meeting with the city's attorneys, back and forth, back and forth. What was happening that day?
It started out that the city's attorneys were complaining that we were getting all the positive press and they were getting none.
Oh, boo-hoo.
Seriously, I'm being very serious.
What?
Then I start to hear something to the effect that Guy DeAndrea's testimony is not going to be allowed, who's our number one witness and lead witness. Then I hear this and this and that, and then I hear a document put in front of me which outlined the things that we have gone through. It was like the judge was in a position to call off the trial and was going to call off the trial. That's what I felt was happening. Judge, what was his name?
Judge
Erdos.
Odos.
Yeah.
He had taken control of the court and was not going to have a trial.
He was giving everyone high immunity and removing our key witnesses. So how impartial was he?
So we don't know what was happening. It's what seemed to be what happening. I'm not going to say I knew it was his, and Erdos did these things. I'm not going to put, because without the judicial system, Judge Carpenter and Erdos, we would have had nothing. At least we had a month, and at least we had this again. But it seemed to be that was what's going to happen. And with those actions or possible actions by the judge, Joe and Will started to negotiate a deal. Now, the deal, I don't want to comment on the deal. We didn't like the deal. It didn't get us what we wanted. We wanted the death sentence, that summary change from suicide to undecided or homicide.
But we are where we are here and now.
Sandee, how about for you?
You asked me a question, what happened that day?
Yeah.
That's what happened that day before the trial.
Okay, but here and now, we're very sad by Dr. Simon's
submeritus discussion.
I mean, honestly, I think every one of your viewers need to look into her past, need to look into who she's married to, need to look into her salary, because she's not authentic, and that's all I'm going to say about her.
No one likes her piece of paper, the 32 pages. No one's happy. I mean, how do you let me finish now. How did she explain that she found all these new wounds that no one found before, looking at only photographs?
Well, that was one of the things that kind of struck out to me or stood out to me, was that she found Dr. Osborne's report so lacking, right? So maybe there were 23 wounds and Dr. Osborne didn't, I mean, we looked at I think it was Tom Brennan, or maybe it was Joe and Will, who got Dr. Osborne's records from the medical examiner's office, where he had been disciplined over something like 40 cases,
right,
including missing strangulation in a homicide case. And we know that, I mean, Dr. Osborne and his team took photos of Ellen's neck. They saw it.
And they dissected the strap muscles.
Yeah, the hemorrhage is there.
Suffocation.
The whole autopsy procedure was not done well.
So
from Osborne to Simon, the whole thing was poorly done, with only prejudice for Philadelphia.
Well, and I had wondered, because if
Osborne, there was no prejudice until he went to that meeting where there were no records.
Well, that is what that was the point I was getting to, is that if the machine of Philadelphia, which includes, the district attorney's office, the Philly PD, if they can pressure Dr. Osborne to change, why should we believe that they wouldn't do that with Dr. Simon?
We shouldn't.
Wait, hold on 1 second. Our computer.
Yeah, I can still hear you.
I know, but something happened with our screen.
No worries.
They want us to. Okay, we're back.
Okay, good deal.
There should have been a stipulation in the agreement that whoever did the review was not Philadelphia, was an unbiased party.
Honestly,
that was a big mistake.
Philadelphia didn't play by any gaming rules. They play by their own playbook, which needs to be reckoned with. They are so not authentic.
But they have the power.
Their football team is great. They
lost to the Giants.
But no.
But I won't bring that up.
I love Philadelphia. And I'm just so deeply disappointed in the government there. They have a lot to account for. And at some point, when there are elections
or whatever,
the city will speak to them because they're a disgrace to the city of brotherly love.
Looking at this photo of Ellen, I think this is her wedding dress. Is this the one that she chose?
It's what she tried on.
The beauty of the dress is when you turned around, there was a magnificent sculpted rose. You don't even get to see the beauty of the gown, but in any sense, I'm proud of it, and she looks breathtaking.
Basically, two things. Number one, there never should have been an examination because Weck said women don't stab themselves. And number two, Simon is all over the place. And she didn't do a good job.
And look at who Simon's married to.
Oh, God.
Who is Simon married to?
Look it up. I'm not going to say. I don't want to go on.
I will do some
Everybody
research.
Everybody needs to do their own digging. This woman is not Philadelphia proud.
Simon has opened up more questions than giving more answers.
She's brought more negativity to Philadelphia than they already have.
Let me refocus on this picture of Ellen. One of the things that strikes me when I look at pictures of Ellen is that, one, she was always taking pictures of herself and her friends all the time. Two, she liked strapless things. She liked spaghetti straps and tank tops and stuff like that. And if it was cold outside, she'd cover up for sure. But pretty much after the dress was tried on, the number of photos that we see of Ellen shrinks, and all of the photos that we see of Ellen, even indoors, are all covered up. So it makes me wonder if things were, all was well in the household until the very end.
It wasn't. Ellen was being abused by somebody. Ellen was packing up that day to leave. The engagement ring was on the table, the night table. Her makeup was all stacked, ready to go. Her car was gassed up. It was all over. Ellen had even commissioned or approached somebody about moving out of the apartment. And when asked about is the fiancé going to come, the answer was no. We're talking too much about the fiancé. I don't really,
he doesn't deserve any attention.
We didn't pick anybody out who might have been the perpetrator. And we're trying to stay away from that.
Let me ask about the gas. Okay.
The gas.
I'm going to ask about her putting gas in her car. Okay. Now, my wife, Kimberly, who I think is a very good avatar for Ellen's build and everything. That's why we did the whole stabby thing, trying to figure out if she could do that.
Is she recuperated from that?
Yep, she is fine. And
you're still married.
Forever, yes.
Go ahead.
But here's the thing, if I could nitpick my wife, just one little thing, because other than this, she's perfect. It's that she runs the car out of gas. Now, I have 4 times in my life gotten into my car after she has driven it and run out of gas trying to get to the gas station. So that
4
is something
times.
that she does.
Josh and I and Ellen are not those people.
No,
That's what I
We
was
don't
going to
run
ask.
out of gas.
we fill her up.
And when I get to a quarter of a tank, I fill up. Josh gets to a half a tank and fills up. And Ellen, I don't know what her gas tank was, but she put like $44 worth of gas in.
Because we have the
So
receipt.
it must have been pretty low.
We have the receipt.
But
So what I'm asking, I guess, is
she wasn't planning on checking out. I can tell you that.
Checking out. She was planning on leaving.
well, that's my
No,
question. Was
checking
it
out without any gas.
Never mind, Sandy. Not saying
what
it.
I'm asking is was that something that Ellen would have done anyway, going, oh, I'm at half a tank or I'm at a quarter tank, I might as well put some gas in? Or do you think she was preparing to drive a long way?
We think she was going. She was going. We think more of looking in her bedroom at was on her bed and the ring was off and she was packed to leave. That's what we think.
Correct.
That's what we believe.
Where do you think she was headed? Home?
Harrisburg.
Away.
Harrisburg.
Yeah.
She was being abused. I mean, let's call a spade a spade.
Honestly, I was with her, I believe, the weekend before. I had no
Inkling.
inkling that my daughter was in any kind of danger whatsoever.
I sent Ellen to a psychiatrist because I wanted somebody to help my daughter, and I wanted her to not lose her job. That's what I was interested in. Those are the only 2 things I cared about when this thing started. If Ellen quits and goes home in the middle of the school year, does she go on a black mark on her record forever when she tries to get a job and can't get a job? And none of her father wants that. I had no idea she was being abused. I had no idea there was any problems. There were any problems. None. Zero. Zippo.
You know, Dr. Simon noted 20 more bruises on Ellen's body.
How silly is that?
But guys, I have counted 59. Like she had made it halfway to how many there actually were.
Okay.
So like, and the whole idea that, well, maybe she plays contact sports or maybe,
No.
it's like
They did
she
this
would
with
have
me.
to be playing full contact like rugby to get that kind of abuse on her body.
Well, okay. So, I mean,
Yeah.
pictures don't lie.
Pictures can be modified. Pictures can be misinterpreted. Things can be misread.
Yeah, I just think that it's bad work. Like Dr. Osborne did bad work. He said there were 3 constellations of bruises, totaling 11 bruises, in various stages of healing. Dr. Simon says there were 31, also in various stages of healing. Says there's no defensive wounds on her hands, but the biggest, darkest, newest bruises are on her wrists. They're like dark blue.
How does Dr. Simon explain the tipped over knife block with
Exactly.
2 knives in the sink and say there was no sign of a struggle?
Exactly.
I mean, is she like, is she compromised?
Yeah, I think
Honestly, I'd love to have a one-on-one with her.
Yeah, you would.
I really would.
yeah, I would like to be
really,
a fly on a wall when that happened.
she's gonna never
Like
come
I
up.
said,
She's never gonna
Dr.
get in my
Simon,
face because she's
Dr.
never
Simon may have, in their minds, proved something, but I think she opened up a whole new can of worms.
Yeah, she's delivering.
She's just giving us more to talk about.
And thank you, Dr. Simon, because you are delivering.
Yeah, you're getting a lot more attention right now, and that's what this case needs. I mean, it's not that you guys are attention seekers, but in order to push the case along, I mean, nothing would have happened first without Stephanie Farr, right?
Right.
Correct.
And nothing would have happened without Nancy Grace, without Joseph Scott Morgan, without so many people picking up this case.
Without you, Gavin Fish.
Well, I wasn't going to say that. Thank you.
I'm saying it.
You have that. You have an extensive library of records. Extensive.
Indeed, I do.
You've done a lot. You've done a lot, Gavin.
Well, I appreciate that. But we need
You need
more
a haircut,
people.
Gavin, a haircut, a
No,
haircut.
I
I
like it.
I do
I
need a
like
haircut. I do. You know what I'm doing though, Josh, right? You remember when I shaved my head with
No,
my
it
I
was for
shaved
his
well,
father.
you were very concerned that I was having some sort of like mental breakdown because I had a shaved
No,
head.
he did it for his father.
Yeah.
oh, okay,
So now I'm going full circle and trying to grow enough to donate my hair, but it looks
okay. I don't think so.
horrible. It is
I
the
don't think so.
worst.
Go ahead.
Um I
Good
was
thing
going to
you have a
check to
nice looking face.
yeah, it's getting skinnier too. I've decided I don't like Fat Gavin anymore, as I told you on the phone, Sandy. I have decided that we are going um, to thin up a little bit. Hey,
We're
guys
getting
that are
rid of
watching,
Fat
Sandy,
Gavin.
Sandy.
let me tell you something. I'm going to complain about my viewers here for a second, okay?
You
And
who?
the people who are watching this right now, I'm going to complain about them. Here's the deal. When I am alone doing the show, they inundate me with questions. They inundate me with questions, and I have it over here. And so I want them to ask questions of you, but whenever I have you guys on, they just kind of like watch. They're like little kids
Well,
going
we'll,
like,
we'll answer.
The
yeah,
big
you got.
question is, Gavin. Here's the real question. Why do they believe us and not the authorities?
Why do you think that is?
Because they don't.
Why do you think people latched on to Ellen?
Authenticity.
We presented ourselves as her parents, not morons, not idiots, not
And
hallucinogens.
honestly, we could be any viewer's parents or a
The relative.
relatable person. We're not trying to manufacture anything. We are authentic. We are us.
That's what
Yeah.
I think. Thank you. And it really is the big question I carry around. Why do you believe me and not your authorities who you voted for?
Well, I think it's just so ridiculous. I think that's the issue. I think it's just
That's
so
one of the issues, right?
ridiculous.
Does this look like a suicide victim to you, or somebody who committed suicide?
No, no, it does not.
No, it
Um,
doesn't.
I just, I mean, I'll tell you what happened when I was told about this case. You guys, well, we hadn't met, right? And I went to the court and I got every single document that I could out of the court and studied and studied and studied it. And your lawyers, Joe and Will, had done such a terrific job in their filings and everything. And I was offended on behalf of you that the city would treat anybody like this.
Mm,
Honestly, it's a true disgrace for people that, I mean, I went to school in Philadelphia.
really?
I loved Philadelphia. Ellen loved Philadelphia. But to watch the chemistry there and the way they do business, and that the people that live there,
They have lived
I
up.
feel so bad for them.
Philadelphia,
I'm not a citizen there, thank God.
Philadelphia has lived up to the reputation of being a cesspool, of being crooked and dishonest.
One of the
You don't like that?
No, I do like that. I have another question that I'm trying to figure out how to pose it. Okay. There
Barber school's
uh,
cheaper. Is that it?
unfortunately, no. Unfortunately, there are too many people, not in your exact position, but in similar positions where something horrible has happened to their loved one, their daughter, their sister, their mother. It's usually women. And I mean, well, I'm in touch with 4 or 5 families where something like this has happened, where it's just a miscarriage of justice. You guys have been able to plead your case and work your case while still remaining upbeat. You don't appear to be depressed. You appear to be living a good life with all of your other loved ones. How is it that you've been able to do that
It's
in
simple. It's really
framed
simple.
by your daughter was murdered, you know?
We are looking at this as a mission, and the mission is keeping us more sane and more with it than if we didn't have a mission. That's my opinion.
What do you think, Sandy?
It's 14 years that has taken us to get to the point where we are right now. And we've had our low times, or I will speak on my own self. I've had very, very deep lows. But fighting for her justice and fighting for truth, I mean, they're very simple, simple qualities that most people would want.
This is
And
what
we would demand.
This is what you do for your daughter. That's what she's trying to say. It's very simple.
Honestly,
We're simple people. We're not complicated people, actually.
we're not really looking for anything more than
Justice.
like qualities like truth,
Justice for Ellen.
justice, clearing Ellen's name, having people that, I mean, there's a whole cesspool of people in Philadelphia that need a commode to get flushed down. And you know what? The voters eventually will do that.
No.
Back in February, as we were coming close to the trial, I think it was on a Saturday, and the trial started Monday, right?
Right.
Dr. Osborne wrote a declaration stating he got it wrong with the new information that he got through the process of these lawsuits. Ellen's death should be classified as something other than suicide, right? Was that enough to clear Ellen's name?
No. The document needed to be cleaned up with a fine-tooth comb, and it wasn't.
Oh,
they needed to set deadlines. They needed to set, I mean, this is like 20 steps backwards.
He said because he was in Florida and not in Pennsylvania anymore, he could not come up with a let's call it a conclusion.
He couldn't change it, but he can.
I think he can.
That's a lie.
We believe he can.
That's a lie.
We believe he can because he's still a physician and he's still licensed. But we don't know.
Yeah, I think he can. Channeling the Heart, Barbara Joyce says, "Love you too. We have all fallen in love with you and Ellen." I think that is an authentic feeling. We all have fallen in love with Ellen. We've fallen in love with you guys, and I'm constantly in awe that you guys continue to fight the way you are. Here's a question. Now, since I've complained about my audience, the questions are coming in, okay? What legacy, if anything, do you want Ellen's legacy to be?
I want Ellen to know in perpetuity how hard her mother and father have fought for her, how so many people have been brought into our lives to support and love her, and we will never give up on her, and we'll never forget her. We are so proud of her.
There are two issues that Ellen's legacy should be tied to. Number one, standing should be reviewed because the judges keep saying that Sandee and I, Ellen's parents, and the guardian of her estate do not have standing to bring a trial to get the truth about her. Number one. Number two, the medical examiner right now cannot be challenged, and that's wrong. He doesn't walk on water. Any medical examiner, he, she, it, whatever. Okay, Sandee, let me finish.
Okay.
He, she, it should not walk on water. Those are the legacies. Those should be the Ellen laws that are changed, that are reviewed. That's her legacy. So this doesn't happen to anybody else. And of course, she should be exonerated from her suicide. That's it. That's what I want.
Well, I don't know how many people are aware of this, but you're right. Medical examiners are kind of above any reproach.
Not kind of. They are above the law.
I mean, in any state, I don't think anybody has successfully gotten an opinion of a medical examiner reversed. Right. You guys got so close.
I know. And the other thing is the standing. What is standing? Why don't we have standing in our daughter's death? Our daughter, our only daughter, and we don't have standing. What did we do wrong to not have standing? And why?
Jim Circus says, "Where to now? Can you appeal the decision to a higher court or outside of the city of Philadelphia?" I know the answer to this, but I'd love to hear your thoughts.
The answer is no.
Yes, we can.
I don't know if we can. I'm not sure. I don't know about outside Philadelphia. I don't know about inside Pennsylvania. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not sure.
Jim, thank you for your question. And Sandee and Josh Greenberg are not giving up.
We're
and
gonna.
we will
We're
never
meeting.
give up,
We will be meeting.
no matter how Philadelphia tries to squash us.
We will be
We're
meeting
here.
with our lawyers to see where we go from here.
Yeah.
We've always been within the law, and we're going to stay there.
Let's see. Susan says, "Tell Josh and Sandee to go get him. Ellen knows how hard you are fighting."
Thank you.
I think that is something that we all feel. Yeah, I would hope. I know that I have parents like you, but I would hope if something like this happened that they would put up the fight.
I guarantee you, Gavin, your parents would stand by you.
Yeah, they would.
I'm not so sure with that haircut.
No, my dad just told me when I was in California how proud he is of me. And I'm telling you, I'm a 50-year-old man. I'm 50 years old and it made me cry. Like,
Gavin.
it's important to a child to hear,
Gavin.
to hear that from their parents. Christine says, "I'm a teacher, will honor Ellen's legacy daily." Yeah.
Thank you.
Ellen was I don't like this whole idea that everybody's saying that she was all worried about school. That was the excuse that she was saying.
Right.
She was a terrific teacher.
That was her cover-up.
Yeah. Her kids loved her.
That's so she didn't have to say, Sam is abusing me.
I mean, how does a victim of domestic violence reveal?
Learn more about abuse, people.
Honestly, we knew nothing about this.
Abuse is a hidden.
14 years later, we're still learning.
Abuse is a hidden assault.
My wife is reading a book right now on the history of rape, and that's not a word that we really use on YouTube very often. They will kick our videos off, but up until like the 1970s, that wasn't even a crime inside the home. They didn't recognize that was even something that was wrong and needed a law against, right? And I think that we are now in 2025. I think we are finally opening our eyes and seeing what crimes are happening throughout the nation all the time within the privacy of somebody's home. I think we're seeing that a lot. That's all right.
What really surprises me, we are in a phase of this country of being very right-wing. And even with the right wing, it doesn't see them that the right wing has come out and said, it's not the police's fault. The police are right. Nobody is saying the police is right. It's still everybody. Who says this is not a mistake? Nobody. I can't find anybody. One guy once, some time years ago, said something, and maybe this will bring out the boo birds from the whatever. I shouldn't say what I'm saying, but this is where we are.
Yeah. Seems like the February 3rd settlement was flawed by stating that the city was to conduct an investigation, which would be a conflict of interest, is that comment. Yeah, I don't think any of us like that the city did that. But you know, you guys were negotiating, and the whole thing about a negotiation is usually both parties come away slightly happy and unhappy too, right?
Right. It's just unfortunate that Simon is a blunderhead. She really has not done what the city wanted. The city doesn't want to keep going. Let me finish.
Her assignment.
That's not the issue.
Yes,
the issue is the city doesn't want to be here anymore. They don't want to hear my name, and they don't want to hear Sandee's name.
Well, guess what?
And they don't want to hear our lawyer's name.
Too bad for Philadelphia City.
She has opened up the thing to keep going. And you know I'm right.
Yeah. Well, you guys are in good form today too. I'm really glad how energetic you are.
When we got her thing, we were not in good form. We got punched in the stomach, both of us.
Friday afternoon.
But she was so fallacious and so stupid and was so what we expected that she didn't prove anything that we just whisked it away, and here we
Honestly,
are again.
I'm not used to dealing with people
35
that
pages.
haven't really achieved their stay in life.
35 pages.
People go to school, they try to find the best schools, get the best
education,
the best degrees from the most prominent institutions. I know nothing about where this woman came from.
I will
I
bet.
just pray she has no mirrors in
I
her
will
house.
bet, Gavin, right now, there are people sitting in the capital of Philadelphia in rooms saying, that Greenberg is right. We didn't want to be here. She should have written 2 pages, and that would have done everything, and we could have been done. Right now, she wrote 35 pages, which all it does is it gives them something to talk about. I haven't even read the goddamn document yet because I'm too cheap to print it out on 35 pages of paper. But I'm going to.
Yeah. It's a read.
I honestly feel truly sad for the citizens of the Philadelphia Commonwealth.
Look what Debbie W. says.
This is who is representing them. They should be ashamed. They need to go 10 feet under.
Look what Debbie W. says about what she did with her 10-year-old.
I was talking to my 10-year-old about this, and I felt comfortable showing him the photogrammetry. These are the images that you guys had made.
I said it was just a cover-up.
Even he knew she didn't do this to herself. Shalom is what Debbie says. And yeah, I mean, I think that might be the most powerful thing that has ever gotten out there is the photogrammetry. Is that, I mean, people can see.
What Weck said combined with the photogrammetry shows us how bogus the whole thing is.
Yeah. Let me see if there's anything else.
So, Gavin, have you talked to Josh Shapiro?
No. You know he has beef with me. Josh has beef. I have beef with him. We both have beeves, I guess, is what I'm saying. Shapiro, I've stopped calling his office. Like there are reasons for me to call his office in my day job to get comments on things that are happening and everything. I have stopped calling the office because I don't get anything out of the media liaison. I don't get anything out of anywhere.
Don't feel bad, Gavin, because he's never answered Sandee and Josh Greenberg. He's never responded.
I never tried to contact
Tom Brennan.
I never tried to contact.
He's never responded to Sandee and Josh Greenberg.
I'm going to say I have to go someplace. The little boy's room.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Okay. No, Sandee.
He's had every chance to respond to us, to you, and he's chosen not to. So please note that.
Yeah.
Take note.
Sandee, it's worse because, as you know, I work at a little publication here in Western Pennsylvania. Josh Shapiro comes through here. I mean, the last 4 times he came through here, I was the assigned reporter to go to the event, and all 4 times I was excluded from the event. So he doesn't want to see me.
That's truly wrong. But why did he never respond to Sandee and Josh Greenberg when we live in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, where the governor's office is? Why did he never ever respond to Tom Brennan? We were respectful to him. We reached out to him, and this man is so freaking cocky.
Yeah. He's slippery too. He's kind of slimy and really, really hard to get a hold of.
Well, at some point he'll respond to us, but in the meantime, 14 years later, he has not. And many, many people have reached out to him, and he's trying to distance himself, and he's doing a great job at it.
Yeah, he is. Let's see. Jesse says, Gavin, in the new doc, they included all the statements that said it was not self-inflicted. Why? Hold on, I'm trying to think. In the new doc, they included all the statements that it was not self-inflicted. Why? I guess I'm not following that.
Ellen didn't self-inflict any of those wounds, which is correct. She didn't self-inflict any of those because there's no way she would have been able to. She was lucky that she was able to try to fight and knock the knife block over, and the two serrated and smooth-edged knives were found in the sink.
Yeah.
So honestly, your eyes don't lie.
Alexander says, my father is a retired ME, and he said this is disgusting. He has seen the reports.
Honestly, any professional, whether it be a policeman, whether it's a medical examiner, whether it's a detective, or any person in any kind of respectable law enforcement, having to watch this and see the things that Philadelphia has been able to get away with is a disgrace. I would be so embarrassed because professionally, this is the most subhuman, unprofessional way to behave. But guess what? It's not over, and your eyes will still watch, and we will still hear, and the truth will set us free.
What are you hearing from people in your inner circle as far as, the doc came out, there's been so much stuff that has been coming out recently about Ellen and you guys. What are you, are you buoyed up? Are you supported by the people in your inner circle? Are they
Oh
helping
my
you?
God, it's overwhelming. We're so inundated with positivity and support and love, which keeps us going. But honestly, the past 2 days, I haven't really been able to partake in social media because we've been doing so many TV, podcast, every kind of an interview. And so we've been caught up with that, but it's all there in perpetuity. So I will get to it all.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I love you guys. I'm glad that you came on.
Love you more.
I appreciate it. Give Josh my best. He snuck out early. There he is.
He had a little delay, but we're with you, Gavin.
Well,
Kudos to you.
thanks
And
for
guess
coming
what?
on.
As Ellen would say, karma's a bitch.
The other thing that you told me about Ellen is that she is a person who brings people together, right?
Oh
Continues
my
to do
God.
that.
Has she brought us together? She has.
Actually brought us together.
Yeah. Yeah.
Aside from her friends.
So I'm grateful for her.
All right, Gavin.
All
Good
right.
luck to you.
Thank you both and have a good night. Thank you so much for joining me. Bye, Josh.
Take care, Gavin.
We love you, Gavin.
I love you too. Bye bye. Oh, my goodness. Guys, are Josh and Sandee just not the absolute best? Are they just not the absolute best? They're hanging out in the background, so they're probably watching this. I don't want to get too mushy, but I'm gonna give you a little inside baseball here, okay? Sandee and I talk all the time. She's one of the people that I just love to talk to. And each and every time, even though all of this stuff is happening with Ellen and with them and with their case, she always asks about the kids. She asks about my folks. She asks how my dad is doing. She always is interested in me personally, and I absolutely love it. And I am interested in everything that's going on in their life too. The other thing is when I talk to my own mother, who I guess embarrassingly, I talk to her less than I talk with Sandee. She always says, how's your other mom doing? And she always wants to know what's going on. So we are two families that are deeply connected now, and I'm really glad that they took the time to join us. Let's see if there are any other comments that you guys have. This is a question that came up a couple times. I didn't want to bring it up to Josh and Sandee. Give me a second. This question is, do you guys know if Sam's current wife and Ellen met before somehow Is there a link besides Sam? I do not believe that they ever met. Now, it's possible. It's possible. But I don't think so. I mean, Ellen did spend some time in New York City, and I don't want to like name drop her nor the children because I think that they are innocent bystanders in this whole thing. So I have nothing but sympathy and love toward Sam Goldberg's wife and children. They're caught up in a hurricane of media and attention, and it's not their fault. So that's important. And even if they had met before, like I just don't feel like there is a connection there, even if they had met. Yeah, I don't know. Who is the medical examiner married to? I can't seem to find anything. I will have to start digging in myself. I do not know. Danielle says, will you do a deep dive on Dr. Simon? I cannot find much on her. I will do some. I don't want to do anything that would jeopardize her health, safety, or anything like that. So I probably won't report much back on that, but yeah, I will look into that. A couple other comments. Love Greenbergs. I mean, we do. And then Melissa, they're wonderful people. They are. They share the same brain. They do. And Autumn says Josh and Sandee are our parents now. And doesn't it feel that way? Doesn't it feel that way? Yeah, it's pretty fun. My mom will ask, how's your other mom? Or how's your bonus mom? Or, it's pretty fun. Courtney, do you have any other suspicions of abuse? The only other evidence that I've seen where I'm kind of suspicious of it is in a couple of texts that Sam Goldberg sent to Ellen, apologizing for what he did, but did not say what he did. There were some voicemails as well. Chief Shenanigan Officer, thank you for covering this so diligently and with all the sensitivity. Let's bring up Ellen here real quick. Push the right button here. There we go. I will get the little slideshow moving. So you said, CSO, thank you for covering this so diligently and with all the sensitivity and occasional bluntness it deserves. Hashtag Ellen's fans never forget. Hashtag justice for Ellen. Well, it has been nothing but my pleasure to do this. That whole thing, Sandee used to say that Ellen was really good at bringing people together. And I would never have known Josh and Sandee. Our paths never would have crossed if it weren't for Ellen. And so I'm grateful to her for that. Sandy bets, how many sleeping pills did Ellen have in her prescription? That is a good question, and I might be able to answer it for you. Give me a second if you guys can be patient and listen to maybe some Jeopardy music in your head. Nobody's ever asked me that question, but I do know where to look, I think. Because I'm not going to show you the picture that I have. But I do have a picture that might help. Let me see. There it is. Okay. Just want to see if it's in here. It's not. There are, I don't want to tell you what I'm looking at. I don't have permission to disclose this, but I thought that I would find it here. It is not there. So I guess I don't have an answer to your question there, Sandee. It might have been in one of the reports. I think she had a 30-day supply, and she was probably like a week into it, maybe 2 weeks into it, but I don't remember. This picture that I'm looking at, though, reminds me of an experience that I had with Josh and Sandee. Let me bring up this one. Maybe the second time that I was at Josh and Sandee's house in Harrisburg, they were letting me go through Ellen's things, and and I came across an envelope that was addressed to her parents. It was still sealed, and it was the save the date announcement. And I said, "Oh my goodness, there it's still unopened." She hadn't quite mailed it, as I recall. The stamp was on was the stamp was there, but I don't think it had postmark on it. Anyway, Sandee goes, "Well, let's open it up. I'll show you what it looks like." And like that had been there for 12 years, and she was like, "No problem." Opened it up, showed me the save the date, which you guys have probably seen pictures of. Patty B, can you ask Ellen's parents to explain the wound on the back of her neck that would have incapacitated her? Would she have been able to continue? I'm not going to ask them specifically, but I will give you my opinion on this. Because Josh and Sandee, I can hear Josh's voice. I don't know, Gavin. I'm not a doctor. He is a doctor, but a different kind of doctor, right? There have been conflicting ideas about that. Some have said there's no way she would have been able to continued after that stab wound. The city, through Dr. Osborne and the latest Dr. Simon, says that she could have. RJF has a husband that worked for a DA's office. Cool. Let's see. Do you know how the Greenbergs were connected with Krasner to represent them when they started their legal pursuit? Did they know he was aspiring to run for DA of Philly? Yes, I do know that story. When Josh and Sandee started, they had a friend who was a lawyer who was willing to just help them navigate possible legal action, getting Ellen's things, getting reports, stuff like that. And it got to the point where he said, "Okay, I'm doing too much here, and I'm going to have to start charging. And you really should hire another attorney." And he recommended Larry Krasner. So they went to Krasner. Krasner represented them in the beginning. I do not think that they knew that he was aspiring to be the DA until he started running for the position. That, if my memory serves, they've confided a lot in me over the years, and I can't remember it all. Bree says, whose decision was it to not have an independent ME with the settlement? It was the decision of both sides. That was the negotiation that they came to. And yeah, they both agreed to it. Mooney says, it's very clear to me that Ellen got her wonderful nature and spirit from Josh and Sandee. Yeah, could you imagine growing? I mean, those are two A-type personalities. Josh they're both retired now, but Josh spent his career as a periodontist. He's originally from Long Island. He's a very blunt, New York, Long Islander kind of guy. Sandee she had let's see, I can't remember. She was a teaching dental hygienist, so she got a teaching degree, and she got her degree in dental hygienics as well. So these are two A-type personalities. I imagine growing up in that household, Ellen had to be able to hold her own. I bet she was feisty. Tio Toys. Gavin is 50? Dang, I know. I'm an old man. CSO says, we appreciate and support you, Gavin and the Greenbergs. Thank you. Thank you very much. It's just me. Cherie says, do we know if her tox screen showed normal levels of her prescriptions? Tox levels showed below therapeutic levels. So they would expect a little bit more if she was taking those prescriptions as prescribed. It was below therapeutic levels. Marianne Sieber, what about any previous girlfriends of Sam's, any prior abuse? We don't know. I don't know any of that. Missed the first few minutes, says Channeling the Heart. Did Greenberg say what next steps are? Their next steps are to talk with Joe Pedraza and Will Trask, who are their attorneys. Joe on the left, Will between me and Joe. These are two smart attorneys, two capable attorneys, and they don't know what next steps are until they consult with them. Excuse me. Oh man, this is stuck for some reason. There we go. Emmy just turned 40. Yeah, 40 for me was awesome. 50 for me was a little harder. You guys have noticed it. After that spinal cord injury, Ellen would have lost all motor function. To me, even if she didn't lose motor function, she would have. It would have affected her ability to fight back, I think. She did not do it to herself. I don't care what. I just don't care what Dr. Simon, Dr. Osborne, Dr. Gulino, Dr. Emery say. She could not have done that to herself. Okay, guys, it is 6:15. Man, we've been at it for a while, over an hour. Thank you very much for being here with me. I think, I don't know, are there any closing thoughts? Oh, let me remind you that at 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Pacific, I'm going to be joining Joshua Ritter over at Courtroom Confidential to talk about this very case. I have shared a link in the fish tank, on X, on Facebook, on Instagram, and also here on the YouTube channel in the posts tab. So you can get you can find it. I highly recommend that you join us. Josh is maybe one of the smartest people I know. Certainly, though, not as smart as his wife, who runs the channel. She's the everything, chief of everything. Kind of like Joel's wife, right? So, anyway, join us over there here in about an hour and 45 minutes. Just a quick reminder that you can always go to my old website, gavinfish.com. Let me bring that one up real quick. That if you want to know anything about Ellen, there is a case page. You just click on cases, scroll down, you'll find Ellen. It's organized chronologically. So since she was 2011, it's kind of near the bottom. But all the videos I've done on the case, which there are many, including today's, photos of Ellen, photos of her in her childhood. I mean, honestly, this might be my favorite. I love this picture. She's holding a couple baby dolls. In fact, look at that piece of art that is behind Ellen in this picture. Ellen, I can't remember the year that she was born. 80. Why can't I remember this? But that was the very piece of artwork that was behind Josh and Sandee today. I just made that realization. But pictures of Ellen as she grew up. This one, I love this one too, because she is sporting the Rachel, which is the perfect time to be sporting the Rachel. It's good stuff. And then, crime scene photos, the photogrammetry, case documents, court documents, a timeline, including, let's see, let me get to it. This document right here, which is the 32-page document that is in question. So you can find it all there. While you're on my website, check out CrimeCod. Click on little CrimeCod, check that out. And then this little fishy will take you to the fish tank where we hang out on Facebook. You are always welcome to join us there. I would love it if you would. With that, guys, I bid you adieu. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your interaction. I'm sorry I complained about you a little bit, and thank you for stepping up so that we had some better questions to ask Josh and Sandee. All right, take care. We'll see you the next time. Bye-bye. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you liked what you saw, please consider subscribing. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below.